My father missed my first steps. He missed my birthdays. He missed my high school graduation. But the day I needed him the most was the day he suddenly stood in front of my door. Older, broken, and asking for forgiveness. And I had to decide something that would change both our lives forever. Marcus Johnson was 11 years old the last time he saw his father walk out the door. That morning felt normal. His father, Derek Johnson, tied his shoes slowly, kissed Marcus on the head, and promised, "I'll be back tonight." He never came back. At first, Marcus believed the promise. He sat on the couch that night, eyes glued to the door. Midnight came. Then morning. Then days turned into weeks. His mother stopped answering questions. The house became quieter. Something heavy filled the air, something no one wanted to name. Years later, Marcus would learn the truth. Derek was arrested that same night. Drugs. Theft. Old choices finally catching up. One bad decision after another led him straight into a prison cell, and away from his son's life. Marcus grew up fast after that. Too fast. He learned how to tie his own tie by watching YouTube. He learned how to shave by cutting himself in the bathroom mirror. He learned how to be strong by pretending he wasn't hurting. But the anger never left. Every Father's Day at school felt like a punishment. Teachers asked students to make cards. Marcus always said he forgot. Truth was, he didn't know who to make it for. His father existed only as a shadow, a man people whispered about, a name that brought shame. His mother, Angela, worked 2 jobs. She was tired, but she never complained. She tried to protect Marcus from the truth, thinking silence would hurt less. She was wrong. By 16, Marcus was failing classes. By 18, he barely graduated. He carried a quiet rage inside him, toward his father, toward the world, toward himself. Meanwhile, behind prison walls, Derek was also changing, slowly, painfully. Prison stripped him of excuses. No drugs. No running. No hiding. Just time, and regret. He missed his son's teenage years. He missed teaching him how to drive. He missed being called Dad. Every night, Derek replayed the same memory, Marcus at 11, waving from the couch, trusting him completely. That trust haunted him. Derek joined a prison recovery program after overdosing once inside. That moment scared him more than prison ever had. For the first time, he admitted the truth, not to a judge, not to a guard, but to himself. "I failed my son." Years passed. Letters were written, then torn up. What could he say after all that absence? Finally, when Marcus turned 28, Derek was released. Freedom felt heavy. He stood outside the prison gates holding a small plastic bag with everything he owned. No phone. No car. No family waiting. Just one address scribbled on paper, Angela's old apartment. Marcus was now a man. A warehouse supervisor. Quiet. Distant. Still angry. When the knock came on the door that evening, Marcus wasn't expecting anyone. He opened it casually, and froze. There stood a stranger with familiar eyes. I'm your father," Derek said, voice shaking. Silence filled the hallway. Marcus didn't hug him. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He laughed, bitter, sharp. "You got the wrong house," Marcus said and tried to close the door. Derek stopped it gently with his hand. "Marcus, I don't deserve anything. Just 5 minutes." Those 5 minutes turned into the hardest conversation of Marcus's life. Derek didn't make excuses. He didn't blame the system. He didn't blame Angela. He owned everything, the drugs, the crime, the absence. "I wasn't there. And I can never undo that," he said. "But I'm trying to be better, even if you never forgive me." Marcus felt something crack inside him, not forgiveness, not yet, but curiosity. For the first time, his father wasn't running. They didn't fix anything that night. Derek left. Marcus didn't invite him in. But the door didn't fully close. Weeks passed. Then months. Derek showed up consistently, Birthdays, random Tuesdays, bad weather, good weather. No money. No demands. Just presents. Marcus tested him. Ignored calls. Cancelled plans. Stayed cold. Derek stayed. One night, Marcus finally exploded. "Where were you when I needed you?" he shouted. "I needed you when Mom cried herself to sleep. I needed you when I felt worthless." Derek didn't defend himself. He cried. "I was weak," he said. "And my weakness cost you everything." That moment changed something. Healing didn't come fast. It came in small pieces: shared meals, long drives, uncomfortable truths. Therapy. Church basements. Apologies repeated again and again. Marcus learned something important. Forgiveness is not pretending the pain didn't happen. It's choosing not to let the pain control your future. Years later, Marcus introduced Derek to his own son. Watching Derek hold his grandson, Marcus realized something powerful. Redemption doesn't erase the past, but it can rewrite the ending. Today, their relationship isn't perfect. But it's real. Derek volunteers with young men coming out of prison. Marcus mentors boys growing up without fathers. Together, they speak about absence, accountability, and second chances. The story didn't end when Derek left. It changed when he came back, and stayed. Sometimes the person who hurt you the most is also the person who needs forgiveness the most. The question is, does forgiveness set them free? Or does it finally set you free? Absence creates wounds, but accountability creates healing. People can change, but only when they face the damage they caused. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the bravest choice a broken heart can make. Marcus thought forgiveness would feel like relief. Instead, it felt like reopening an old wound just to clean it properly. After that night of shouting and tears, things did not suddenly become warm between him and Derek. There were no movie-style hugs or instant healing. What came next was harder: consistency. Derek kept showing up, but now Marcus allowed him closer. Not fully in, but not pushed away either. They started meeting every Sunday afternoon at a small park nearby. Same bench. Same time. No pressure. Just talk. At first, the conversation stayed on the surface. Weather. Sports. Work. Derek listened more than he spoke. Marcus noticed that. His father wasn't trying to control the story anymore. He was letting Marcus lead. One Sunday, Marcus asked a question he had been holding inside for years. "Did you ever think about me in there?" he asked, staring straight ahead. Derek swallowed hard. "Every single day," he said. "But thinking wasn't enough. I should have changed earlier." That honesty hurt more than lies ever could. Marcus learned something important during those weeks. Anger had protected him for years. Letting it go made him feel exposed, almost unsafe. Without anger, he had to face the sadness underneath. He began remembering things he had buried. Sitting by the window as a child. Making excuses for his father at school. Watching other boys hug their dads. Pretending he didn't care. At night, those memories came back stronger. Meanwhile, Derek was fighting his own battles. Being free didn't mean life was easy. Employers saw his record before they saw his effort. Some days he was treated like his worst mistake. Old friends tried to pull him back into old habits. But now he had something different: purpose. Every time temptation came, he thought of Marcus's face when he said, "You weren't there." That sentence kept him straight more than any prison rule ever had. One evening, Marcus invited Derek inside his apartment for the first time. It was a small place. Simple furniture. Clean but lonely. Derek noticed there were no family photos on the walls. That silence spoke louder than words. They sat at the kitchen table drinking coffee. Marcus hesitated, then asked another question. "Why drugs?" he said quietly. "Why risk everything?" Derek didn't rush his answer. "I was trying to escape myself," he said. "I felt like a failure long before I became one." That sentence hit Marcus deeply. For the first time, he saw his father not as a villain, but as a broken man who never learned how to heal. That didn't excuse the absence, but it explained it. Weeks later, Marcus agreed to attend a group session with Derek at a community center. It was a support group for men impacted by incarceration, fathers, sons, brothers. Marcus sat in the back, arms crossed, ready to leave at any moment. Then one young man stood up and said, "My dad is still locked up. I hate him, but I miss him." Marcus felt his chest tighten. Another said, "I don't know how to forgive someone who never showed up." That night, Marcus realized his story wasn't unique. It was shared by thousands of black families across the country, cycles of absence, pain, silence. This wasn't just about him and Derek. It was bigger. After that, Marcus began asking deeper questions. About accountability. About masculinity. About how boys become men without examples. He also started therapy, something he once believed was weakness. He learned that healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant understanding the full truth. Derek attended every session Marcus allowed him to. Sometimes he just listened. Sometimes he apologized again, not out of guilt, but responsibility. Then came the hardest moment of all. Marcus's mother, Angela, agreed to meet Derek. The room was tense. Years of exhaustion and sacrifice sat between them. Derek stood up and apologized, not for going to prison, but for leaving her to raise a child alone. "I don't expect forgiveness," he said. "But I owe you truth." Angela looked at him for a long time. "I survived," she said. "But Marcus paid the price." That sentence stayed with Derek forever. Slowly, painfully, boundaries turned into bridges. 2 years later, Marcus got married. He didn't ask Derek to walk him down the aisle, but he invited him. That invitation meant more than any speech. Derek sat quietly in the back row, tears running down his face. He wasn't part of the spotlight, and he didn't need to be. After the ceremony, Marcus walked over and hugged him. That hug lasted a long time. Later that year, Marcus became a father. Holding his newborn son, Marcus felt fear rush through him. Suddenly, his father's absence made sense in a new way, not as an excuse, but as a warning. He looked at Derek standing nearby, smiling softly. "I won't disappear," Marcus said firmly. Derek nodded. "And I'll never stop trying to earn the word dad again." Today, Marcus and Derek speak openly about their past, at schools, community centers, reentry programs. They don't hide the pain. They don't sugarcoat the damage. They talk about choices. Accountability. Healing. They talk about how incarceration doesn't only punish one man, it affects generations. Their message is simple. Being present is the greatest responsibility a father has. The story didn't end with forgiveness. It continued with effort. And effort is what turns regret into redemption. Some fathers leave and never return. Some return and never change. But when a man comes back different, the question isn't, "Should I forgive him?" The question is, "What kind of future do I want to build?" Redemption is not words, it is consistent action. Forgiveness does not erase pain, but it can stop pain from spreading. When one man heals, generations heal with him.